Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Walter's Wanderings Travel Podcast. We'll get to our guest in just a minute, but before we get to him, let me tell you that the promotion that I'm going to offer is this. Any place that we mention in today's podcast, I'll give you $50 off a qualifying trip of 4 nights or more. So that works out great for you, and it works out great for me, and of course, our buddy Ben, he'll tell us all about some of the places he has been and the stuff he has done. So that's it. That's pretty simple. So on the podcast today is Benjamin Greene. He's a good friend of mine. We have a lot in common. We have a love of Disney in common. We have a love of women who are teachers of technology in common. We have music in common. In fact, we have just about everything in common, even gray hair. So
yes.
That's right. We can run, but we can't hide. It's as simple as that. So Ben, obviously, let's start with your love for Disney.
All right.
I'm always curious about that, and what are some of the changes you've seen from the first time you've been there?
Well, first, thank you for having me on the show. We talk about travel, Disney. See, as an adult, I've been introduced to Disney not as a child. I was introduced to Disney as an adult. And thanks to my wife, who has known it when she was a little child, but now as an adult and been there with children, she's learned how to accept Disney, how to use Disney, how to enjoy Disney as an adult. And let me tell you something, it's fabulous. And to answer your question, what has changed? And if you know, like I know, a lot has changed. First of all, the new owners.
Listen, the new CEO, every CEO has to put their thumbprint on it.
Right.
Sometimes the thumbprint is better and sometimes the thumbprint is worse.
The first thing that I loved about Disney was, as an adult, you can enjoy it as an adult. And I mean on the kiddie level of rides and events and things that are there just to check out, just to view. And I mean, I'm talking just the people alone who attend Disney, okay? They're not just United States citizens. They're people from across the world, hence the name Disney World, okay? Not land, but world, okay? So it's awesome to see all the different people and cultures that are there. Secondly, they do have, rides there and different events and shows that attracts people of many backgrounds and likes. Some things are funny, a lot of educational things, but in a very entertaining way, okay? So that's what makes Disney awesome for family and individuals. That's what I like about it. What has changed? Woo! Since COVID, we know, like anybody else, they want to be safe. I understand you want to protect your property, your interests, and the people that come there. But they seem to got a lot of things down, but I think they tend to forget about folks of a certain age, all right? I'm talking about the non-Gen X people, those the 50 plus. They went and made a lot of things, upscale technology-wise.
Right.
A lot of things you have to do technology-wise that a lot of mature adults don't know. You and I are lucky. We enhance it. We know this stuff because we're excited about it. But now,
and we're students of the game,
Thank you. We train, like, we've fallen down, we've gotten up, and we've learned.
and you're right, because I do know that when I'm dealing with multi-generational groups,
yes.
I basically tell the grandparents, who are usually the executive producers, aka the bankrollers, leave the heavy lifting of the technology to the grandkids.
Yes.
If they're older than 10 or 11, they'll be able to do it all much faster than you. And what I do is I'll get on a Zoom or a platform like this, and I'll literally walk through how to go ahead and do all the technology things. And trust me, even the newest thing is this Genie Plus, and that does require technological gifts, and it does require, knowing the ways and the means to do it. It's amazing that that they are getting to be so app happy, I guess we could call it, and it does kind of shut out some people from maybe some of the experience. But I think the other part of the Disney thing is the things that you won't find necessarily in the parks.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff you can do that's not park related. And we have the Disney Springs, which has tremendous dining. It has some good entertainment. It has a very underrated bowling alley, Splitsville. It even has a movie theater in case it rains.
Right.
And then you have the boardwalk area that has some really nice restaurants. It has good entertainment. And you have even things like the golf courses. They have 3 full golf courses and a 9-hole golf course. So there truly is something for everyone there. And I love, and trust me, I love it. You know, we're going back again sometime. We have other things planned in the near term, but we'll be back to Disney because Disney always comes in and calls us. Like, come here.
Definitely, like you said. I mean, outside of the park is just one thing, right? Once you learn to enjoy outside of the park, but you're still in the bubble, okay?
Right.
That's the beautiful thing. Because downtown Disney Springs, we remember Disney Springs when it was like, okay, But when they realized, wait a minute, we have folks here, we can appeal to many people in many ways with things for people of all ages, okay, and money-wise, okay?
Right.
So when they did that, we were like, oh, wait a minute, things have changed. I can go to a farm-to-table restaurant and go, oh, wait a minute, this is real food right now, okay? I can go to Japanese food, okay? I can go to Latin food, I can go to the Irish dance. I mean, there's so much. Like, wait a minute, I haven't tried that. So you can make a list of, let's discover this today.
And then they have the shops, like they have the big Lego store with all the wonderful things they make with Legos out front and inside the store.
Yes.
They have the World of Disney store. They have a wonderful, if you're into it, they have a hand-rolled cigar store. So,
the chapeau, the hat shop, and you try.
Oh yeah, there's so much to see and so much to do, even at Disney Springs. There's no doubt about it. And I'm a golfer, so I've golfed at the golf courses.
There you go.
They're very well done. They have hosted the PGA and the LPGA, so they're quality golf courses, and it's really quite good. Now, one other thing I want to talk about is at Disney, a lot of things are also interspersed and interrelated with the music. They have all these soundtracks for all these different events. And if you're like me and you're a travel advisor and you happen to be having to call into Disney for something, you get to hear all this fabulous music in the background for hours and hours and hours as you're on hold for the client. And yeah, you get earworms all the time. So what's your favorite Disney soundtrack, or what would you consider that?
Man, it's like different songs sometimes for different movies. I mean, you can go with the classics. You're going around, you hear the melody to, and next thing you're humming, da 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 da. You're like, wait a minute, hold up. Then you hear the Princess and the Frog. You're hearing songs, very melodic things. Then Pocahontas. I mean, different movies. I don't have a favorite, but I remember some melodies. You're going, whoa. And then sometimes you hear a song, you go, wait a minute, what soundtrack is this from? And my wife would know. I'm going, yeah, that's right. And you start to picture the movie and the scene where the song came from.
Because my favorite is still the Carousel of Progress, because I can sing "It's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow" all day long, and it's one of those must-do attractions, even though you know how it goes. That's the other thing about Disney. There's a certain sense of nostalgia where, if you go on Small World or you go to the Carousel of Progress, or you go to even Pirates of the Caribbean or Peter Pan, there's a sense of nostalgia. And the one thing I do miss, because they switched it over, was when they took out the Snow White ride and they put in the Princess meet and greet. I was very crushed by that, because I really enjoyed that Snow White ride a bit. Yeah. As long as they don't take out the People Mover, I'm all good,
Oh, the People Mover as well, because there's times when we need to get up out of this crowd and just chill, and you look around, you're going, whoa, oh, okay.
Then you see all kinds of stuff, and you can do some people watching, and you can see things. Like the last time I was there, I got to see the construction on the new Tron attraction. So again, there's always something new and something different. So Disney is great. We recommend Disney. We recommend the Disney cruises. We recommend Disneyland. We recommend the ones out of the country. Always. Now, another place you've been to that is always of interest is Washington, D.C. Because, again, square inch for square inch, there's so much you can get in. And, yeah, you still walk, but it's not like miles and miles because it's all, somewhat compact for the most part.
Oh, sure. I mean, like when you go down there, of course, you definitely want to go to the Smithsonian. You hear about it, but it's not concrete until you're in there. And when you see the things there and you're wondering, who gathered this stuff? And you see the history of things, okay? That's what's awesome.
And there's many buildings involved here. There's about 12 different buildings, from the Air and Space, which most everyone has heard of, to the National Archives, to other things. And you can see all kinds of things, from pop culture things, like the living room set from All in the Family, to seeing the Old Glory flag that flew over Fort McHenry, to Apollo moon modules and moon rocks and all kinds of stuff in between. And the best part is the Smithsonian is free. It's free, people.
Free. Free.
It's the best price. Then yes, you can become a member of the Smithsonian Institute for a little bit of money, and you save money when you go to eat, and then you can get other things. You get the Smithsonian magazine, which is fascinating, and so that's always a good deal. Now the next thing, of course, are some of the governmental buildings.
Right.
Now I haven't been since COVID, so I make this disclaimer, but one of my favorite tours was the FBI building.
Man.
I really enjoyed that. And one of the most melancholy buildings, it's not governmental per se, but the Holocaust Museum. I cried for hours. I really did.
Please, the line that's out there, people, I mean, I can't recall if they have a sign that says, be prepared, the reality of these things actually happen. Okay, but they bring the history in, and if it doesn't touch you, you need a life check. Clear.
It's true. And then they have the Spy Museum there, which is really cool.
Oh man,
I love that place. There's no doubt.
Right, they had the Native American. We went there. You see that, and you got a little something for everyone. I'm trying to remember. We were just there in August. Can't think of the museum that we finally went into, but they were giving a history of the different towns like DC, Philadelphia, and they were going back into the neighborhoods. And you saw the black and white pictures of the different cultures and people of each neighborhood. And you're like, wow.
Yeah, and then the other thing is all the monuments.
Oh.
And again, because it's DC, it's basically all free.
Yes.
And you have everything from the Washington Monument, which you can go up and down in.
Yeah.
And you have the Lincoln Memorial, and you have the Martin Luther King Memorial, which is really stunning. I went right before Easter one year when the cherry blossoms were out, and my God, it was really amazing. You have the Korean War Memorial, you have the Vietnam Memorial, you have the World War II Memorial, you have the Jefferson Memorial, which is kind of out of the way. Couldn't never figure out why they moved it out of the way, but they put it there. FDR. There's so many just beautiful things, and it reminds us of where we've come from as people. And I think it's really important because history really shouldn't be removed only because of the fact that you have to know so you can improve.
Definitely, you got to see where you were, where you came from, and figure out, was this right back then? But it doesn't work now, and switch.
Yeah, and listen, you can admit that things are not like they should be, but don't be necessarily tearing it down because of the fact that people then screwed up and all of that. Because again, we're not there, you're not there, I'm not there. So now the other thing about DC is there are some good place to go hear music. Have you been to any good DC music venues?
I'm trying to think. I don't think we were in a park somewhere when a friend of ours, she lives in Virginia. I don't know the name. So, because you're in the DC, Maryland area.
Right, sure.
Surrounding. So, we drove a little bit and there was some jazz playing and I was like, yo, this is awesome. You had a quartet singer who was about, it wasn't anybody. No, it was Esmeralda. Oh my God. I'm excited. Can't think of her name. but she sang with her quartet, and I was like, now this is how music should be heard.
Well,
I'm here in the open, great audio sound, and boom, everybody's there.
now I'm going to lay a fact on you probably didn't know. This is a fact. The largest employer of musicians in the United States is the U.S. military.
Oh, think about it. They have people come to play for the groups, right?
Well, they have all kinds of bands. You know, they have the Army band, the Navy band, the Air Force, Marine bands. They have all those bands. They have
Kennedy Center.
And the Kennedy Center. How cool is that? I actually was there for a music convention years ago, and I got to see an a cappella group called Chanticleer sing. Wow. And oh my God, they blew the socks off. And then the next day they had a master class, and they charted me up. I don't know why. They looked at me and said, "You get up here." And then they had me part of the deal. So wow. DC has a lot of great stuff, and there's a lot of great ethnic restaurants because you have all the embassies there.
Oh yeah,
there's some great food to be had. Well, I went up to this place called the Old World Restaurant. It's a German place in Georgetown.
Okay,
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. And yes, you can still get all your other fixins and all your little Christmas tree ornaments and shot glasses and whatever else to say DC on it. So now the last place I want to talk about is California.
Okay, before we go to California, I don't want to say one of the biggest things in DC that, when you compare to everything that's fairly new, the African American History Museum. Huge. The design is awesome, but on the levels that you go, you learn about historic people and the items that are there and just the history and some things you walk through and live through between the audio and the visual and the participation, and that's very cool.
Well, that's good. I like a good participatory museum because sometimes, if you're just looking at paintings on the wall, it can be kind of boring. There's no doubt. So let's go west to California.
Cali.
Years ago, 1992, I took she wasn't my wife then, but she would become my wife. We went from San Francisco down to San Diego, and the joke was we were packing, and I packed up a sweater and a couple of sweatshirts. He says, "Why are you packing that?" I go, "We're going to San Francisco in August. That's why." Cool. So guess who wore that stuff? Not me, my wife.
See.
And then we went down the coast, down the Pacific Coast Highway. We went by Big Sur. We did the tour of the Hearst Castle. We stayed at the Madonna Inn in San Luis Obispo, and then we made our way down to Los Angeles and to San Diego. It was truly a nice trip. So tell me about some of your California adventures.
So as far as California, I've been to the LA area. Okay, we've been to San Diego. We've been to Disneyland, of course, but it's called the Griffith Museum or Monument. I forgot the name of it, but it's a little north. But it's nice because they have this great land with this water and stuff, but it's designed like a museum and stuff, and it's very, very awesome. I mean, a lot of great things in there. And it's funny. We went through, because you hear about Compton, California from the movies and stuff, and you drive through there, going through one area, and we're like, okay, because it's like, before you would never drive through there, but now it's got a history because a lot of people have come from there, the Williams sister, NWA,
right?
People who come from there have grown, and you realize, wow, these people have actually, they knew where they came from, made an effort, and boom. Now you know that you can almost do anything if you put your mind to it and you have the talent.
Hard work, determination, and that one smidgen of luck, that'll get you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
No, I actually enjoyed California for the time I was there. I don't know if I'd ever live out there, but I enjoyed it. And when I went to Disneyland, it was $28 to get in and $5 to park.
Whoa, wait a minute.
1992.
Wow.
Only one park. And my wife and I, we managed to go on everything that was open in that day.
Wow.
Yeah, if they had Fitbits back then, we would have probably broken the Fitbit,
Hey, I also realized my second time we went back to Cali, we went to Six Flags.
Sure, Magic Mountain.
Yes.
Now they got some great roller coasters out there. They do.
my grandson and I was challenged it, and it's like, I'm a roller coaster guy. And I remember there was one ride, it was challenging roller coaster. It shook the both of us. Once we got off, we were like, oh, okay, man. You get your feet, you get your legs back.
Yeah, there are some that's always a good time when you feel that kind of thing going on. I love a good roller coaster. I'm an air guy. I'm not an inversion guy. Give me the air. In fact, one roller coaster that really gives me a great thrill is down at Hershey Park called Candemonium. It's their new coaster.
Hershey, yep.
I love that. And Hershey Park's a great place, and it's not far from New York. It's a 3-hour drive, and it's really tremendous. It's tremendous, and even though they don't do the regular tour of the factory like when I was a kid, it's still a good time. It's still a good time.
The cool thing about Cali, I'm going to continue with you. The cool thing about Cali is if you talk about food, I'm not sure where you have eaten there. I was wondering, tell me, in San Francisco, I understand they have some great places to eat. I'm not sure what you did in San Francisco.
Well, in San Francisco, we ate at the Fairmont. They had the dinner with opera singing.
Oh.
So I treated my wife to dinner with opera singing, and I got up and sang too. But I didn't get my dinner for free there. When I got my dinner for free for singing at Disney World.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not going to leave until we're done with the podcast. Let me tell you quick. It's a true story. This was a day that Italy won the World Cup back in 2006.
Okay.
And my daughter, who was 2, was with my wife and I, and we made reservations to go to Alfredo's, the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, because it's now no longer there. So we arrive at Alfredo's, and it's really festive because all these Italian people are really pumped that they won the World Cup. And of course, the World Cup's played in Europe, so they got to see it earlier in the day. But they had an accordion player. So the accordion player was making his rounds. I told the waiter, I says, listen, have the accordion player come here and I'll sing. And of course the waiter goes, oh my God, no, not another. I says, no, but seriously, I can sing. So we had our before dinner drinks, we had our appetizer. My daughter Sydney fell asleep. She was 2. We ate our main course after the main course cleared. Right then, accordion player comes over, and he grunts at me. He goes, so I hear you can sing. And I go, yeah, I can sing a little bit. What do you want to sing? I go, I'm gonna sing Nessun Dorma. Nessun Dorma? Really? I said, yeah, really, truly. Well, what key? I go, the original key. Come on. So he started playing on the accordion, Nessun Dorma. He was really, really good. He probably could have played the phone book. He was that good of an accordion player.
There you go.
So he starts playing, and then I start singing. And, like the ripples on a lake when you drop a rock in, the other tables around started to get quiet. As I started singing louder because I just was singing to my wife at first. And so I start projecting the voice and singing louder. And so there's an interlude right before the big finish. So at that point, a couple of people at the adjoining table said, stand up, stand up. So, all right, I stand up. I do the big concerto at the end. And 400 people are going absolutely wild.
Love it.
So the napkins are going wild.
Yes.
Pictures. It's 2006, so there wasn't too much cell phone activity.
Right.
But then what what happened 2 minutes later, after all of that, the manager of the restaurant comes over with the waiter, and he says, listen, I have to apologize. I have to apologize for what? He says, everyone who's ever said they could sing couldn't sing. You're the first one who could actually sing.
Ooh, see?
So guess what? I said, what? He says, your dinner's on the house, including the tip.
There you go.
And that was a $200 dinner, including the tip.
You brought entertainment. That's why.
That's it. I brought it with me. I girded my loins and I sang the song. And of course that was a big song at the big celebration that the 3 tenors sang at the big concert after. So it was like coming around full circle, and boom, I got a free meal. Sydney was she got up enough to see that it was me singing, and then she went back down to sleep. She was a smart girl,
Oh, that's daddy.
That's it. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, but I did get the free meal for singing at Disney World. So there you go.
Cool.
So there you have it. So now you and I also have a shared background because we have both been DJs and doing music, spinning the licorice pizza,
No, I know, for sure.
Now your specialty was jazz.
Huh?
Your specialty was jazz, right?
Well, jazz was one thing, but my real specialty is old school. Well, funk, because I'm a big
Oh,
funk
sure,
guy.
the funk. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand. I get that. Now, my specialty was everything, but no, seriously, it was actually country music, because when I was in college, I did the country music show on Saturday mornings, and I swear everyone listened to that show, because the phones would just be off the hook, because they'd be, with all the requests, because that's
Yeah.
where, when you're out where there's more cows than people and more trees than cows, that's what they listen to.
Of
But I
course.
loved it. I loved it, and on Friday nights before my show, if I went to the local watering hole and someone caught my voice, they would buy me a beer with a request. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I did radio in college, and when I got out, I didn't follow to become a DJ because I wasn't about, oh, I gotta live in this town. If my rating's good, I stay. If my rating's not good, you gotta move on. I'm like, no, I need something stable. So I learned how to work the computer and knew how to put contracts in that brought the money in. And I entered those in. So that was more stable. But I kept broadcast in me. So when I waited for the internet to come and they were doing things online, I was like, oh, how can I do a radio station online? And people were telling me you have to do A, B, and C. I'm like, oh. But then when I found out about what? I can create my own radio show and bring it up online, I started doing the funk show online. That was online for a guy out of Southern California, DJ. He closed down the site. It was in soulwetrust.com, where he had a lot of mixed DJs who do mixes. Some were live, but not many. So I asked him, does anyone do a radio show? He goes, no. So I paid like $40 a month, and I created the funk show, which was 2 hours. It was on from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it was heard United States and around the world. And you got ratings per hour. See, sometimes you have 15 to 20 people per hour listening to your show.
There you go. Build it, it will come. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
So there you go. Well, we'll have to spin tunes and smoke a cigar and have a beer someday. My friend Ben, I really appreciate you being on the Walter's Wandering Travel podcast today.
Yes.
Don't forget, folks, if you go ahead and book a 4-day or longer vacation to any place that we mentioned in our podcast today, in case you forgot, it was Disney. It was any of the Disney parks. It was also California. It was DC, and even Hershey. If you book something 4 days or longer, I'll make sure you get $50 off your trip.
Take that deal, folks.
That's it. So listen, everyone have a great day and take care and be well. And we'll see you on the next time on the Walter's Wandering Travel Podcast.